So many has happened over the weekend, from conversations surrounding the Xmas gift from the United States President Donald Trump, that saw Sokoto being, of course, bombed, to conversations around what's happening in River States. There seems to be factional parties supporting the number one citizen, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then the sudden travel of the number one citizen, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after
causing a lot of ripples.
After a previous press release was put out by the SA or SSA to the president, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, stating that the president would be in Lagos for the holidays. And then all of a sudden, there was another press release just over the weekend that he'll be headed out to Abu Dhabi for the summit. What summit? Well, that conversation is what we're about to start. And that starts our wake-up conversation. So let's start with this one. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has quietly, well, until his SSA put out that press release, jetted off to Europe ahead of a summit in Abu Dhabi, slated for January, not 1st, not 2nd, no, 11, January 11. Okay, take note. But his early departure is raising eyebrows back home, here in Nigeria. Now, with the country still reeling from economic hardship and public outrage over a recent U.S. drone strike in Sokoto that reportedly caused panic and damage in civilian areas, many Nigerians are questioning the president's silence. He's yet to address the nation on the incident. And to make matters worse, the presidency hasn't released a detailed itinerary for the trip, despite it being funded by taxpayers already grappling with inflation subsidy cuts, and a struggling naira. Now, at the moment when the phrase Nigeria bleeds echoes louder than ever, the president's absence and lack of transparency are leaving citizens with more questions than answers. But what you see on the screen there is what we've talked about before.
So many times.
Let's take a look. Just watch this video.
That's Minister Atiku Bagudu, Minister of Budget Planning. That's Femi Gbajabiamila. That's Wale Edu. That's the Deputy Governor of Lagos State. That's Hope Uzodinma, all the way from Owerri. He left his Christmas celebrations to come and, wave daddy. Yo.
Ooh. Yeah. And then you have them again.
Yes.
When did we start this trend?
It started in 1960 under Tafawa Balewa. Why are people laughing now? It's something we've inherited since independence, and nobody deems it fit. I wish we had another video on the side of South Africa's president, Cyril Ramaphosa, traveling. 2 or 3 people.
Even French president, even the United States president.
I mean, these are very important people that should be facing important matters of state. Okay, I understand your chief of staff, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, but look at
and
Mr.
even the Lagos State governor, okay.
Yeah, and even the
because he's living from Lagos State.
Yes,
but the rest, I don't understand what's going on. That But you know what's even worse? The more you Nigerians criticize them, the more they do it. It feels like the entourage is getting longer by the
Or this entourage is small, Sha, compared to the previous ones. The last trip, the entourage was so long.
Really?
Yeah.
This is smaller.
No, this is smaller. This is smaller.
Maybe if it was in Abuja, because it's departing from Lagos.
This is smaller. Anyway, the major concern for this entire conversation is that Nigerians are wondering, one, the president has not carried out a State of Nation address on the recent, drone bombing about the United States. Maybe the president is saying, let the security chiefs take care of that. 2, Nigerians were expecting that during the Yuletide season, or like my friend would say, Yuletide season, that the president would have done a small video to address the people and talk to them about certain things. 3, Nigerians are worried that this trip, the Abu Dhabi event is January 11. Please correct me, today is 29th, if I'm right. And that simply means you have a longer, so is the president going to stay for so long? And then the SSA puts out a statement and says that he's going on a trip in Europe. And everybody said Europe. Where you have to be specific.
Why so specific with with the geographical location?
Yeah, specific.
Because people have been criticizing the president. Now, what is it with France? Why is it always France? And that Europe that I went to, in a few days' time, we'll know that it's France that I went to. You should have just put it there in the press release. I don't know why we always shroud things with secrecy. If he has to go for an annual medical checkup, it's within his rights. Let's be very transparent. He was elected by Nigerians. He's serving Nigerians, and I don't understand why things have to be done under the guise of secrecy and what have you. Let's not be economical with the truth. Nigeria needs to know. And my biggest concern is that for the first time in Nigeria's history, since 1960, or since the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914, apart from the British colonial people, I don't think a foreign power has bombed Nigeria or threatened our sovereignty and territorial integrity as what, with regards to what happened on Christmas Day. We were expecting, like Joe said, the president to address the nation and assuage fears rather than have press releases from the Ministry of Information and Foreign Ministry. He didn't do that. And to travel in such unprecedented times in our nation leaves more questions to be asked. Nigerians are really wondering that what's really going on. Is it that the president doesn't care about things that are happening in his own nation? How do you leave a house that is seemingly on fire with this level of insecurity?
Good question, Gbenga. But let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly. Let's see what Nigerians are reacting to concerning this story and what they have to say concerning the president's recent European trip, because that's the only way we can call it, a European trip. Mega Mixer puts a long one, replying the SSA to the president. Mr. Bayo Onanuga says, your statement regarding the departure of President Bola Tinubu for Europe is another masterclass in administrative opacity, typical of your press releases. By announcing that the president has left for Europe, a continent of 44 countries, without naming a specific host nation or city, your office is treating the movement of the head of state as a private holiday rather than a matter of public record. The president is a public institution and not a private citizen. Every hour spent outside Nigeria is on the public purse and time. Yet you have chosen to withhold the exact location of the commander-in-chief from the citizens who fund his office. The timeline provided in your release is equally problematic. You mentioned the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, which does not begin until 11 January 2026. This leaves a 14-day gap that the presidency has failed to account for beyond vague generalities. Historically, these non-specific trips to Europe have been synonymous with stays in France. If the president is in Paris for personal or medical reasons, the administration has a duty to be forthright instead of hiding behind geographical generalizations. This lack of transparency fuels speculation and undermines the institutional credibility of the State House. He goes on to say Nigerians deserve a precise itinerary that accounts for the logistical and financial costs of the presidential air fleet and security detail during this 2-week window. You must clarify if there are bilateral engagements scheduled before the UAE summit or if this is purely a private stay. Public trust is earned through clarity and respect for the right of the governed to know the status and location of their leader.
Absolutely. Well said. Well written.
This is also a masterpiece, so to say. Ubon Abia says, what is the meaning of end of the year break?
Exactly what it means.
It's an end of the year break.
Exactly. Now you want to explain and pass.
What is the meaning of Europe? Is Europe the name of a country? What is Abu Dhabi Summit? When is Abu Dhabi Summit starting? When is it finishing?
Good
when
questions.
Is Tinubu returning to Nigeria? You tacitly avoided those questions because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to see his medical doctors and does not know when he is coming back. Everything about this government is fake, no transparency. Well, this is how Ubong Abia feels. And it just shows you how
and a number of Nigerians
feel.
too. Is echoing the sentiments of a number of Nigerians.
Mazi Oyopo says traveling out of the country when a foreign power has to intervene against the terror group slaughtering citizens. Does a man whose house is on fire chase rats? What are you hiding that you couldn't disclose to the country he is traveling to when he is going to UAE and returning back to Nigeria? This is
I think you should pause there for a bit.
Yeah.
Traveling out of the country when a foreign power has to intervene against the terror groups. I hope what we're doing is not what we've done in terms of neglecting governance and then Nigerians begin to self-help. Because we've seen this with roads, bad roads, you buy SUVs, bad power, you go off grid, you get inverters and things like that. And this insecurity and the body language of the president not addressing the country, traveling, it could be interpreted as, okay, let the United States have a free reign. Let's outsource our security to them. And by doing that, you're diminishing the powers and you're diminishing the responsibility of the Nigerian armed forces, who are well equipped and trained to deal with matters of internal and external security. Let's hope that's not where we're headed.
Well, let's see what Obeta says. Obeta says Tinubu uses every opportunity to sneak out of Nigeria. He was invited for a January summit in the Middle East, but he has already flown to Europe. He's just competing with Buhari in fairly and traveling. Well, that's how Obeta feels. He feels that traveling is too much. And that's all we're going to take. Well, that's a story that starts off the wake-up conversation. Feel free to drop a comment or two. We're streaming live on social media. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on, you name it, you find us there.
One more thing. You remember when the president called off his travel to G20 after Nigeria, after Donald Trump called us a disgraced and...
threatened boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah.
That was a threat. He has carried out the threat. You didn't travel when he issued a threat. He now carried out the threat. That's when you deem it free, which is worse.
You know why? Let me give you an example in the Bible. When Solomon had, God had sent the prophet to Solomon to warn him about what he had done. Solomon was in sackcloth, fasting, praying, crying, refusing food. The moment he heard that the child has died.
Okay, that's David, right?
He went, David, thank you. He went and had his bath because this was a child before Solomon was born.
Yeah.
So he went and had his bath. I said, give me food, make a chop. They said, is it not this one that's been crying since? Fasting, weeping, wailing. They said, when the child was alive, there was hope. Or when there was potential of the child to be alive, there was
life
hope.
Goes on.
But now the child has gone. What can I do? God has taken him. So,
fantastic analogy.
So you've looked at this whole situation and
he was threatening now. So he has done his worst. Life is for the living. Let's go on.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's now move away from the president and come back to Nigeria and talk about some very, some would call it very annoying, but I don't know how you'd react to this. Pastor Chris Okafor of the Mountain of Liberation and Miracle Ministry has publicly apologized to Nollywood actress Doris Ogala, marking a dramatic twist in a scandal that's gripped social media for weeks. The controversy began when Ogala accused the pastor of breaking a promise to marry her, a betrayal she claims left her emotionally and financially wounded. In a series of fiery online posts, she demanded not just a public apology, but also a share of his company and financial compensation as conditions for forgiveness. Despite Pastor Okafor's apology delivered on his knees before his congregation, Ogala has continued to press allegations, including claims of explicit content and a $10,000 offer to silence her. The saga has sparked heated debates among about power accountability and the bloodlines between spiritual leadership and personal entanglements. Let's take a look.
Listen, we're not joining issues. Mistakes have been made in the past. And I tender apology to everybody. But everything that was said is not true. Everything, take note, everything that was said, never true. There are so many lies in most of the things that were said. But how be it, I say, I am sorry to everyone I've offended. To the Doris Ogala, I also say sorry, and I apologize to everyone that I've offended. And once again, I repeat this. I'm ready to make a restitution to anyone and anybody, any lady, anywhere, or man I've offended. I am sorry. Forgive me. I am not perfect. I've never been perfect. But I tell you, I've had a new beginning since the coming of these fathers of faith into my life. before the church.
Okay, so these church members especially applauding, you know who they reminded me of?
Ooh.
All those people that used to clap anytime Wiki says one line, they will clap. You know, all those his followers.
I'm very sorry.
So I have a few
Those
questions.
are political hallelujah boys and girls.
That's a very valid. So the question, I have a number of questions. First of all, does this count as a proper apology? If you want to apologize, apologize. No, they apologize with tease. You know, apologize.
No, it's just his nature. He's born with it. So forget the tease.
Which
the
one
tease.
is,
He has apologized.
A number of what they
Look
said,
at the content of what he's saying.
Secondly, apology is important because it leads to forgiveness. They can forgive you, but actions have consequences. Doris Ogala alleges that because of him, she was taken to prison. She was kept in Imo State CID 4 days before her brother's burial. She was kept in prison for 2 days. If those allegations are true, what can he do to make up for that? For making someone stay in prison, why?
No, is he the Inspector General of Police? Because I'm trying to understand what crime she committed and why she would be locked in prison. I'm just asking questions.
And that is why you need to...
Because I know how the Nigerian police,
exactly,
how individuals, influential individuals can manipulate the Nigerian police to do their bidding. Was it not the same Nigerian police that arrested a child, an infant, and a mother in lieu of the father last week? So I won't put these things beyond
So,
them.
of course, the police have their responsibility to play. They have their blame in all of this. But I'm looking at the parties involved. Also, I think I did mention earlier that we need to start learning that their actions have consequences. You can't be in a relationship with someone for 8 years, give them the impression that you're going to marry them, go ahead and marry someone else and expect that everything is just going to go kumbaya and that it's just going to be, heartbreak as usual. People are saying, put yourself together. You're not the first to be heartbroken. Because she made videos on social media saying that she's suicidal, that she wants to kill herself. People don't understand that there's something called heartbreak syndrome, that people can actually die from a heartbreak.
Very true. So, and it's happened.
Yeah, there are people who don't know how to deal with the pain.
Married people, they lose their better half.
Yes.
And then a few months later.
Then they go after that. So there are actions, and actions have consequences. And very soon, sooner than later, I would love to see people getting damages for breach or failure of promise to marry. That's one.
But what's a reasonable timeline? Because how can you be dating someone for 8 years is a long time.
But Doris Ogala she also has a blame in all of this. Her blame is a number of the allegations she made against him were so strong. And the question was, if you knew this information about him, you stayed with him, you were willing to marry him, you're only bringing this information to the public because he's gone ahead to marry someone. You are an accomplice. If you are accusing him of criminal activities, she alleged that this altar, that they should dig into the altar and they will see some things. I don't know what is inside there, but whatever the allegation is, no matter how bad it is, you were aware of it and you were willing to go ahead. You covered him up. The moment he broke up with you and married somebody else, now all of a sudden he's a bad person and deserves to be exposed.
Hell hath no fury
like a woman's gone. But
they all have roles to play.
I can't. Who am I to have an opinion against the man of God or to talk about a matter of a man of God? I don't have any opinion.
And the final thing is, it would be great for us to start having structures where you are a man before you are a man of God, but actions have consequences and you can step away from the pulpit for a bit while this is happening. So you go and make peace with God and then you come back to do your duties. But let's head to X and see what Nigerians are saying.
All they said is you step away from the step away. Step away.
Did you not see the immediate past minister?
Well, in my own church, if anything happens, there's structures for discipline. But anyway, let's head to X. Ben Samuel says, let's be clear. This is not an apology. It's calculated damage control to soften the impact of what's already exposed. He carried the title of pastor while allegedly committing these horrific acts, all without his congregation's knowledge. He proceeded to try arresting Doris. It backfired. Allegedly sent $10,000 to make it go away, which backfired again, and only now issues this open apology. I firmly believe Doris should continue exposing the truth. His soul is for God to judge, but the victims and the public have a right to know how many lives he allegedly destroyed. Let's pause here before we go to the next tweet. Just to mention, there were other allegations of nude photos. In fact, one of the allegations
involved... nude photos for who?
Involved his daughter. Guess what this man did? He brought his daughter to the pulpit and asked her, "You are my daughter. I gave birth to you. You know me as your father. Have I ever touched you indecently?" And he put the mic in her face. I wish we had that video. She said no. He said, "No, repeat after me. Have I ever touched you indecently?"
And
she said no.
Like
He now on the pulpit. He now said, "And if you lie, God will punish you." I was like, what is this? How can you even subject a child to this kind of public humiliation for your own reputation?
It's really, really
Where do we draw the line? Chris Okafor says he didn't say what he's sorry for, did he? He said he's sorry to all involved.
No, he didn't say anything.
He didn't even specify who he was apologizing to.
Yeah,
it was generic.
Jeremiah says this is a rare and powerful moment of humility, not be small. Taking responsibility, apologizing openly, and doing so without excuses shows maturity and leadership. Let's pause. There was an excuse. It takes courage to admit mistakes, especially in public, and this gesture deserves acknowledgement. Hopefully, this apology brings healing, reconciliation, and peace to everyone involved. True leadership is not about never being wrong, but about having the humility to make things right when you are.
You know the immediate past Minister of Science and Technology that said he went to UNN. Maybe he went to University of Nigeria in NASCO. Not to Suka. He didn't also apologize. Why do Nigerians have a problem with apologies with their full chest? How do you give a generic
apology like that? Let's take one more reaction from X, and next. I thought we had one more.
Yes, we do.
Okay. They will keep manipulating you guys. Why did it take him this long to accept? They come to speak English to further confuse you guys. A pastor obviously fornicating and destroying the body of Christ. Which humility are you talking about, please? So that's why many people have raised eyebrows regarding the apology. Like, the moment she made these accusations, if you knew that there were elements of truth in what she said, why didn't you apologize from the jump? Why did it take having her arrested? VDM even stepped into the arena. VDM had threatened that if she wasn't released by a certain Tuesday after she was arrested, that he had all the explicit content sent to him by her and he was going to release it. So many people argue that it was because of that she was out. We don't know what the true position is. But after all the blackmailing and allegations...
I'm just shaking my head for Nigeria police in all of this.
In all of these things. Yeah. Like they could use you to set the law wrongfully in motion against a citizen, an innocent citizen. But Nigerians, what do you say? At the end of the day, apologies and forgiveness is for God. Actions do have consequences, but you let us know what you think. Was that apology enough? Should we, the
question is, was that even an apology?
Exactly.
Because what are you apologizing for?
His church stood up and they were applauding. So
did you say, oh, listen, I did this?
Said it has hurt people. In general, humanity.
Okay,
he's even apologizing to us too.
Apology. It's a humanitarian apology.
Yes. Not to a specific
it's not to the issues.
Yeah.
And then again, a certain man of God also had a damning issue against him. But when he damned the consequences and he still continued, and the members said, oh, leave him alone. Don't touch not the anointed. He's right. The wife is wrong. The one who left, she's wrong. She's the one to blame, and so on and so forth. You think others will not follow suit? They follow suit. All these stories, I beg. Let's move ahead.
All right. On X, on YouTube rather, we're taking a few comments regarding this story. Mokunye Chukwemeka says anybody can just get up and become a daddy G, no checks and balances. How do you really check and balance?
Oh, yes.
Really? How? Because you can't decide
you got the call
who God has
look at Noah.
When God was calling me, you were not there.
I have a new one on my street that is disturbing me.
Sorry.
You should report to Lagos State Consumer Protection Agents. They will swing into action.
Regarding the earlier stories we see here, he said he should meet up with Doris. Prince Ajibade says he should meet up with Doris and sort things out with her without the cameras. 8 years na joke. He wasted 8 good years of her life. Doris too has her blame. She was complicit too in whatever happened. I completely agree with you. He said those people clapping remind me of Tinubu's data boys. May Jesus help his church. That's all I can say concerning Doris and Chris. Then regarding the traveling of the president, Annie Chinedu Brown says, you are traveling abroad amidst the attack. I'm beginning to think that America acted unilaterally. The story of collaboration is just a facade to save face and embarrassment. And Mokie Chukwuemeka says, Hope Uzodinma is always present. The people of Imo mean nothing to him when it comes to Tinubu's traveling. Joe, except for the state of emergency broadcast concerning Rivers State, has the president spoken to Nigerians at any time? Does he care? And I bet that the president didn't transfer power to his vice. These are the comments on YouTube. Keep the comments coming and we'll visit YouTube all through the show to take them. But we unfortunately have to quickly head out. Now let's share with you our top stories and then we'll come back. We'll go straight into the show proper.